A very good afternoon, and thanks for clicking on to the Friday edition of Logan's European Outlook. We have got an interesting weather system to the west-northwest of the British Isles at the moment. This is the remnants of Tropical Storm Alex, which originated about a week ago over the eastern Pacific. Of course, as I've said in the last few videos, that system crossed Mexico and then has crossed the Atlantic. The actual centre of the circulation will never come on shore in the UK, but we are going to see its influence of rain and some pretty unseasonably strong winds, 50, 60 miles per hour possible on exposed coasts. Over the hills, we could see gusts in excess of 70 or 80 miles per hour over the next 24 hours. So this is the surface pressure chart according to the Meteoseal website at this very moment in time. We've got, of course, the dartboard of low pressure just off the Outer Hebrides here, and of course we've got some very strong winds blowing on that southern and eastern flank of the circulation. High pressure down across Iberia and across France, extending a lot of warm air indeed up into the southwest of Europe. Helping that area of low pressure is helping transport some of that hot air north. So to the south and east of that circulation, we're knocking on the door of 40 Celsius across central and southern portions of Spain this afternoon. Temperatures into the low 30s, even into the French Mediterranean, and we've got mid-20s extending up in towards Paris. Nothing really particularly warm for the time of the year, of course, but nonetheless still a pleasantly warm day. So you can see here this nice little curl associated with pressure at the surface down, low 970s in millibars, so unusually deep for the time of the year, that's for sure. High and dry across the southern and eastern portion of the British Isles. We're seeing temperatures knocking on the door of the mid-20s in East Anglia, for example, this afternoon. Very pleasant conditions indeed. And looking at the ECMWF overview chart here, you can see very nicely that area of low pressure positioned at the moment here to the west-northwest of the British Isles. Like I say, that southwestern corner of Europe seeing some warm temperatures. Now, over the next 24 hours, as we go through the weekend, you can see here that system then kind of moves kind of eastwards and then eventually up into the North Sea, or Norwegian Sea, should I say. And then we have got a bit of a north-south divide in the pressure chart through the weekend and into early next week. So we've got high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north. We're going to see spells of quite wet weather, as you can see here, moving in to the northwestern half of the UK. So really northwest England and up the western side of Scotland, we could see some fairly significant rainfall amounts over the early portion of next week here. And then as we push towards the middle and latter half of next week, we've got a little bit of a decrease in pressure across the south. But it's interesting here because we do have the opportunity for some of that warmth down over Spain, Portugal, France, to move northwards here. And if you look at the 850 millibar temperature chart here, it is indicating that we have got somewhat of an interesting setup here. So certainly up until recent times, there has been a lot of warmth at times into Spain, into France, and but it's simply been kept to the south of the UK because we've had either high pressure in the north of the UK or in fact low pressure. Both has stopped the northward progression of hot air with Africa origin moving northwards here. And as we play through the next several days here, we've got of course that big circulation, some cooler wrapped around that circulation as well. As you can see, look at Spain and Portugal, plenty of hot air, but of course with that area of low pressure to the north of the UK, that stops the warmth from lifting north. But as we press through the week, now notice here we've got an area of actually freezing temperatures at 850 millibars, so a fairly chilly air mass actually gets drawn across the top of the UK on the southern flank of that low. So we could actually see some fairly cool suppressed days temperature-wise, and actually some very cool nights for the time of the year into the second half of the weekend and into early next week here. All the while, we've still got some hot air with temperatures in excess of 25 Celsius at 850 over Spain and Portugal. As we play through in the next week, we've still got that westerly flow, low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. You still see the restriction of that warmth trying to get lifted north here. But as we play through the loop, bear in mind this is one model run out of many model runs that is starting to see and hint at hot air trying to move up into England and Wales. But you notice here that Scotland actually misses out on that warmth. It seems to get so far north and then it gets shoved eastwards here, and then it actually indicates that we've got a lobe of unseasonably cool air coming southwards out of the north into the UK, and gone is that very, very warm air that is trying to lift north. Over the next several days, it's going to be interesting. We'll keep an eye on what the models are showing, their solution. They may back off on this idea. They may start to become a little bit firmer with this surge of heat. At the moment, if we do get a surge of heat, I think it's going to be mainly England and Wales, possibly southern Scotland, and it will be a reasonably short-lived surge of heat. But this is something that I have highlighted, that eventually hot air trying to get lifted out of Africa up towards the British Isles will eventually manage to make it in the UK airspace. Up until now, it hasn't, but this is certainly worth keeping an eye on over the next several days here. And it's interesting, if we look at this is off the GFS Ensemble, the 5-day increments here. This is the upcoming 5 days. We've got, of course, the trough to the north, ridge to the south, plenty of hot air up into southwestern portions of Iberia. Day 6 to 10, you can still see that that kind of north-south divide. We've got a little bit of an area of low pressure actually seen by the model. So this is the period 15 through the 20th of June. We do have a little bit of a negative here over the northwest corner of Iberia, which is quite interesting. But look at this here, and this is where I think it is short-lived. The 11 to 10 day actually has a trough firmly over not only the UK, but also actually extending all the way into France and Spain as well. If you look at the 2-meter temperature anomalies here for the same period, we've actually got cooler than normal conditions for the UK, for Ireland, for France, Spain and Portugal as well. The heat is displaced off to the eastern side of the British Isles here. Looking at precipitation over the next 7 days, we'll start off with the upcoming 7 days. You can see here wettest across the northwest, driest across Ireland and across much of the UK, really actually away from the western side of Scotland, if you notice here. And then as we play through the period here, we'll start to see wetter conditions compared to normal, slight kind of showing up over the British Isles here. So I do think if we do see a surge of heat, it is short-lived, and at the moment anyway, it's restricted mainly to England and Wales. But we'll keep it right here on YouTube, and we'll watch the models as they come in and watch the trend to see if this is going to materialize. If it does materialize, it'll be the middle and latter half of next week. So stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching. I'll be hopefully back again tomorrow with more. Please like, share, and subscribe as always. Bye for now.